The vote at the UNHRC is on the 22nd of March, that's 3 days from now. In India, it's become a huge talking point, with regional parties like the DMK threatening to pull out of the government unless they ask for the inclusion of the word genocide in the draft resolution and an international probe into the war crimes. As the centre tries to walk the tightrope of diplomatic relations with Sri Lanka while trying to hold on to power, we ask Sri Lanka under UN scanner, should India interfere? Joining us on a video call, we've got Siritunga, who's the General Secretary of the United Socialist Party. He joins us from Colombo and he's also a former presidential candidate. Thank you, sir, for joining us on NDTV. We've also got with us Frances Harrison, who's a journalist, joining us from London. She's the author of Still Counting the Death. And in the studio, we've got with us Professor Premanathan. He's a postmodern writer, Prem, from on Tamil issues. I just want to start with you first, Mr. Siritunga. You know, there is such a huge buzz in the country now with this UNHRC vote on the 22nd of March. What's it like in Sri Lanka? What's the talking point? Is there even a talking point at all?
Yeah, this is a very important thing at the moment in Sri Lanka. You see, even the last year, the March United Nations Human Rights Commission passed a resolution against the Sri Lankan regime, which Indian government supported at that time. Now the situation is the crucial because Sri Lankan government has not taken any serious steps to implement the LLRC recommendations, even though a year has gone since the resolution passed in the United Nations. Sri Lankan government has not taken any serious steps. So because of that, now situation is much more worse, and at the same time the Sri Lankan government still coming through the same old argument, saying that they need some more time to implement the LLRC recommendations.
All right, I just want to bring Professor Premanathan. Sir, you know, Siritunga there talking about the fact that the government has not really managed to keep its promises that it made in the run-up to getting elected. But in India, you know, is this just political posturing by the regional party and, you know, trying to sort of put pressure at the centre, or do you think this is significant and it goes beyond vote bank politics in that sense, that it's an issue that does need to be raised up, whether you do it through pressure at the centre or however you do it?
The issue is not only a vote bank issue. Actually, the regional parties are forced to voice the protest voice, the inner voice of the people. Now they would get together and protest. They are registering the protest for more than 1 month after the release of the Balachandran Prabhakaran's photo with all the footages, and then the no fire zone, the killing field in Sri Lanka. So they would realize that what happened in Sri Lanka, apart from that war and genocide, they would find that the people, the Tamil people are betrayed by the whole international community. So the people of Tamil Nadu and the youngsters and the students, they have come up with all the demands. We should do something else for the Tamil people. Now they have to, the parties of Tamil Nadu should reflect their voice. They are forced. It is indivisible.
Okay, so you're saying that vote bank or not, they have to bring this up because it's an issue that needs to be addressed. But Frances, I mean, asking that the word genocide be included in the resolution, asking that, you know, an international probe should be set up. How realistic do you think those demands are at the international level?
Well, I think that talking about genocide before you've had an international investigation is really putting the cart before the horse. I think you have to wait till there is that investigation, and war crimes lawyers, experts have to look at the issue and ascertain if that's the case. I don't think, I think the issue of an international investigation has wide backing from every human rights group you can think of, and anyone who's really studied this issue in detail. But I think with just two and a half days to go before the vote, to push for something as drastic as an international investigation is leaving it rather late. I mean, we know that the wording of the text can change right up till Friday afternoon, but we don't know what the view of the United States is about pushing for stronger text, because they're the ones that sponsored this resolution. If perhaps the wording could be toughened up, that would be a help at this point, and that perhaps is feasible, because we do understand that the reason why the final draft got somewhat watered down in its wording was because of Indian government pressure, and that's clearly why we're seeing the DMK reaction to that.
All right. Siritunga, I just want to ask you, bring you in at this point, of course, Francis really making that point that really every human rights group is asking that an international probe be ordered. Why is it that at this point, 4 years after the war, so many of the promises that were made to the Sri Lankan Tamils have still not been met, even though the President had made many such promises during his election campaign?
Yeah, that is the whole case. You see, Sri Lankan government has made many promises. I mean, I can go on, but I don't have the limited time. I mean, just for example, I mean, implementing 13th amendment to the Sri Lankan constitution, which gives the the powers to the north and east, which is during the last the president election time, which I also was a candidate. The president himself said, I mean, he is going to give a 13 plus to the Tamil speaking people. So he has never implemented. Of course, he has said, he has given many promises to Sri Lankan Tamils. He has given many promises to Sri Lankan the people as a whole. He has given many promises to the international community, but he has not implemented. So even his own committee, as I said before, the LLRC is the Sri Lankan born thing. It's not come from outside, because when the time the Ban Ki-moon appointed the committee called Darusman to give him a report was taking place in Sri Lanka. After that particular report, what Mahinda Rajapaksa, President of Sri Lanka, said, we don't want to hear to these things. I will appoint my own committee going to the matters of the grievances of the Tamil speaking people in this country, and after that I will take the steps. So I mean, that particular the committee which he himself appointed, but he has not implemented those recommendations. That's the whole issue now. The entire issue is now rallying round on the recommendation of the LLRC. At the same time, which I like to, take an example, sorry.
Which have not, the LLRC recommendations have not been implemented, but Professor Premanathan, I just want to bring you in here, Siritunga really pointing that out. So perhaps with the DMK putting up this pressure that you include the word genocide, which Francis is of course saying is perhaps not possible, they also have a demand that make the demand for an international probe necessary and mandatory. Otherwise, otherwise you will not come across serious in terms of taking a tough stand against people who are, who are Sri Lankan Tamils.
Actually, this this was a genocide. There is no any dispute about that. But we have been waiting for a time to put more evidence and proof to prove that it has happened. For more than 3 years, that the international community has been telling that it was not a genocide, only a war. But we have to accept that after 3 years, this is happening. And
Francis, you talked a lot to survivors. Professor Premanathan here saying that you have to accept that it's a genocide. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't think the survivors talked about the label that they put on it, but what they discussed was appalling suffering that you find, it was basically like listening to Holocaust survivors, listening to their stories. They witnessed people in front of them being blown to pieces. They saw their children dying in front of them. They heard people screaming in agony in the bunkers at night, and they couldn't get out to help them. And they were literally starving, and you had loving parents discussing with their children whether they should all jointly commit suicide, because it was the only way they could control the way of their death. So you're talking about war crimes, crimes against humanity, persecution. This is documented by the UN. Whether you label it genocide or not is, I think, a matter of the intent on the part of the government. And I think at the moment, war crimes lawyers are divided in their opinion on that. And nobody's saying it's definitely not genocide. They're just saying more research needs to be done
before you can call it that. Okay, just want to ask one final question in 10-second comments from all of you. Clearly, what we can agree on is that there must be a solution. And, to quote a famous journalist, he said, whether the cat is black or white, they both should be able to catch the mice. So what
Well,
do you think should be the solution? Francis, to start with you first. Really quickly.
Well, this is possibly the worst bloodshed of the 21st century, and it simply cannot be allowed to go unchallenged. So I think there has to be an international investigation. You can't expect the Sri Lankan government to do that. And I also think India should look at its involvement in the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in November, due to be held in Sri Lanka, and that obviously rubber stamps the regime that did this.
Okay, sir, if you could please, last 10 seconds.
you see, I like to make a point. I mean, now, Indian government is getting huge pressure, especially from the Tamil Nadu, and the DMK is a part of the ally of the government in India. But I like to make a point. You see,
All right.
when this, the
All right, sir.
crucial war took place.
Okay, really quickly, sir, if you could just finish.
When the time it took the crucial war took place in Sri Lanka, the DMK was in power. If they should have done what the students doing at that time, especially the Loyola College, which I had a public meeting in Loyola College in the January of 2009. At that time, I put the demand to the both DMK and ADI-DMK. In spite of they are trying to gain political against each other political party, if they have really interest of the Sri Lankan Tamil, they should have come for the joint action. If they have done that that time, the entire scenario would have been totally different. But now, because of the pressure from the ordinary Tamil people in Tamil Nadu, especially the students who took the initiative in Loyola College in Chennai, now the DMK get the pressure, and they have sent the letters to the government saying that they.
All right, sir. I'm going to
withdraw.
have to leave it there. Very interesting points from all of you. I'm going to have to leave it there. We're totally out of time. Many things could have been done very differently in the past many years, but now all eyes really on the 22nd of March. We'll slip into a short break, but after the break, all the buzz about the anti-rape bill in Parliament, that's after a short break. And finally, snippets of the debate in Parliament on the anti-rape bill, and as you're going to hear for yourselves, it wasn't just parliamentary language that was in use. We leave you with this.
झांकना, घूरना, छूना, इतना खराब बात, मैं डिटेल से बात इसमें हम जाना नहीं चाहते। जो दिल्ली में फंक्शन होता है, बड़े बड़े हाई फाई, बड़े बड़े लोग जुटते हैं, नेता जुटते हैं, पहले पंक्ति के नेता लोग जुटते हैं, ओल्ड एज के लोग जुटते हैं। तो ये अगर इसकी इजाजत हम सेंटिमेंट में दे देते, आप देखे होंगे महोदय कि महिला को पकड़ के गला लगता है। हम बिहार के लोग, हमको हिम्मत नहीं होती है किसी महिला से हाथ मिलाने के लिए।
आज जो पूरे समाज के अंदर पहनावा, इतना पहनावा गलत हो गया है जिसका कोई इंतहा नहीं। यही कारण है कि तमाम इस प्रकार की बातें आती हैं। एक कवि ने लिखा है, पहनावे की बात कर रहा हूं, जयप्रदा जी, आपका पिक्चर भी मैंने देखा है, आपके भी पिक्चर मैंने देखा है।
अरे भाई, आपका बूढ़ापा है तब भी जरा थू से देखना उसको ठीक से, आपका मन भी हल जाएगा। अरे भाई, नेचुरल है, हम आदमी हैं। अरे वो कोई झंडू बाम, हाँ, मुंडी बदनाम हुई। अरे कैसा कर रही है।
तो जो प्रोग्राम प्रोड्यूस होते हैं कि 10 साल की लड़की, 12-14 साल का लड़का डांस कर रहे हैं, और डांस के गाने कौन से, किस प्रकार के हावभाव वो लड़की कर रही है, या 10 साल की हमारी, किस प्रकार के प्रेम गीत पे उन दोनों लड़का लड़की डांस करते हैं। और अब तो हम इतने आगे बढ़ गए हैं, क्या किस प्रकार के संस्कार हम देना चाहते हैं कि वो तो मुंगड़ा, हमें लगता था ये मुंगड़ा बड़ा हमें काट रहा है, अब इसके भी आगे मैं कई बार देता हूं, मैं हूं बलात्कारी, क्या, और न जाने क्या क्या गाने, किस प्रकार के गाने और किस प्रकार की एडवर्टाइजमेंट, कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है। कई बार ये बात उठी थी, मैं ये सब इसलिए बोल रही हूं, बात ये कही जा रही थी कि 16 साल क्या, वो तो 13-14 साल के भी बच्चे सब समझ रहे हैं, इसलिए मैं इतने विस्तार से बात कर रही हूं।
These are really a snippet of the parliamentarians who are going to pass that anti-rape law. But for now, it's a wrap on the social network. Come back same time tomorrow at 6:30.